Hey guys, I'm Jordan, this is Tia, and our dog, Zena.
Today we want to show you a little look inside our VW Kombi, which we are currently traveling Australia in. So before we show you guys the inside, we just want to let you know that traveling in a Volkswagen Kombi is definitely not the most practical van to live in, especially not here in Australia. We chose this van because we're both very visual people, we're both photographers, and we just love the look and the feel of this van. Our van is a 1975 Volkswagen T2 Kombi. The color is mellow yellow and we have the camper edition. So this is probably our favorite feature of the van because as soon as we get in here and we're hanging out in this area, the first thing we always do is pop the top just for that extra space and air. To pop up the top, all we have to do is undo these 4 buttons. There's one on each corner. And then you pop it up. Ta-da! We have these air vents in the pop top, so they just open like this. And that gives us a really nice airflow throughout the whole van, which we open every single night when we're going to sleep. Up here we have extra storage, so every night when we pop the top, we put things like Jordan's guitar and any extra random stuff that's lying around the van. Let's move on to the kitchen. Here we have our slide out bench top. So this opens up and this is where we keep all our cookware and a few pantry staples. We've got things like our coffee maker, our mugs and plates. We also keep Zena's food, pantry staples, cookware, and we have a little Swedish oven which we have yet to use, but we will show you guys when we do get around to that. We love having this because this allows us to cook outdoors, which isn't really an issue here in Australia because we haven't had very many rainy or cold days, so it's been really enjoyable just to pull this out in the morning and make our coffee and have dinner here. Good girl.
So no kitchen would be complete without a fridge. At the beginning, we chose to go with an angle fridge freezer. It's a 45 litre, and to be honest, if we could go back, we'd probably get something slightly smaller, which would fit a bit better inside our small van. The good thing is, we only have to go to the shops once every 5 days. It runs off 12 volt, which means we don't draw too much charge off the batteries, and we rarely eat out. The angle actually goes down to -6 degrees, which is way more than we'd ever need. Oh shit, it goes to -14. So one addition we made to the Kombi when we first bought it was this roof rack up here. A lot of people ask us questions about the roof rack, like how much was it, where we got it. There's just a website, it's called Just Campers. We grabbed ours from there and we had to replace some of the wooden slats, but other than that, it's just been perfect. We've had it for a couple of years now and it allows us to store a bunch of stuff up top here, like our water bottle. At the moment, we're just running with a 10 litre water bottle, which is not a lot, but fortunately here on the East Coast, there's so many places to fill up. We get fresh water basically every single day and you never have to really pay for any of it too. So it's fantastic. So most of the time we just use our water for brushing our teeth, cooking, making coffee, and having his drinking water. So one fun little feature we put onto our Kombi is the license plate. We chose to have a personalised license plate because in Australia you can buy them for about $600 or $700 depending on which state you're living in. So the main reason we actually got the license plate was because the first question everyone asks us when they come up to us is, what year model is the Kombi? it gets asked like maybe 20 times every day. So we put 75 on the license plate, and it didn't really work. So you get the same question every single time.
You tired? This spot here is one of my favorites in the van. It's my workstation, so we have this little bench top. It pulls up like this, and then I can just do my work here. A lot of the time it's accompanied by a beautiful view, which I'm super grateful for. These pouches here were a little project of mine, so they've been super handy because we just keep loose items like pens, journals, some of Zena's toys, Zena's treats, and power banks, and whatever else needs to go in there. I also made the curtains. So what I did for those is I actually just bought some curtains from IKEA, cut them up, and sewed them to fit each window. One thing that we don't actually have is window blockers. Luckily, Jordan and I are both very good sleepers, so it doesn't really bother us too much that sometimes there's light in the van and we wake up very early with the sun. In the future, we may get some or we may not. We'll see how we go. We styled the van with a very boho interior, as you can tell. So these ones are probably my favorite decoration. I bought them in Bali and they're actually just anklets, I think, or bracelets, but we use them to hold the curtains. Moving on to our bench top. This is all one piece with the slide out drawer included. And in the cupboards here, we have my clothes. This actually has a lot more storage than you would think. The cupboard goes all the way to the driver's seat at the back, and I just keep my clothes in little storage pouches. Up here we have our cutlery drawer, and over beside it we have all of our pantry items. Underneath the seat where I'm sitting now is extra storage, so we just keep things that we don't use on a regular basis. Things like flippers, boots, warm clothes, toolbox, toolkit, etc., etc. This seat is also what you call a rock and roll bed. So it pulls out to become a queen size bed. A lot of the times in the Kombi vans, the cabinet is all the way to the back and it's only a double bed, I believe. So we really enjoy having the extra space in the van, especially when you're in places like we are now in the tropical North Queensland when things get a bit hot and humid.
So guys, welcome to the captain's chair. Driving a VW bus is a very cool experience. You've got this big massive steering wheel which is sort of hold like this. It's all very basic in the terms of like electronics and dash, so all the wiring is really simple to play with. We don't have any air conditioning or any stereo speakers in the Kombi at all. We always seem to make do though, it never really bothers us too much. When we're traveling Australia, we always try and follow the really good weather. So we're up north here at the moment and it's sort of the end of winter, so things are still not too hot.
In front of our seats here, we installed these bamboo shelves. I also made some curtains for them just so it doesn't look too messy. Here we keep things like our toiletries, our headphones, and things that we just want to grab and we use on the daily. Also behind our seats, these pull forward and we use these travel pouches. We'll keep a spare set of clothes in there just in case we want to change at any time of the day. Sometimes the cabinet in the back can feel a bit like cave diving, so we just love having a little bit of spare clothing at hand.
So in between the seats is where we keep all our electronic gear, our camera, drones, anything we want quick at hand so we can go shoot straight away. One little thing I like about this section is that we keep everything in these little electronic cases. This means that we can keep all our gear separate. We know where everything is all the time. As you can imagine, in a van, things can get lost pretty easily, so these help us out quite a bit. And of course, this is where Zena sits, right here between our seats. Don't you? Yes. Yes, you do. You sit right here. So at the back of the Kombi, we have our engine bay. In here, we keep our auxiliary batteries. We have two 100 amp hour auxiliary batteries, which are powered by our 200 watt flexible solar panel, which we glued to the roof of the Kombi. We have then a 600 watt inverter, which is found in the wheel arch here. The cabling runs all the way to the front where we have a power board, where we can charge our laptops, our camera, and a few other accessories which we need to keep on the road. It allows us to be off-grid whenever we want. So guys, that concludes our van tour. Thanks so much for watching.
Thanks so much for watching. If you if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, like and subscribe, and check us out on Instagram at 75vibes_.
Peace and love. Whole family.
Okay.
Say bye.
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 We bought our Kombi about 3.5 years ago. When we bought it, it was freshly painted this beautiful color, and that was one of the reasons why we fell in love with it in the first place. We just felt like we needed to have it.
We got really lucky. Most of these vintage vehicles have a lot of rust. But when we got Stella, she was pretty much all freshly painted. She'd been bogged. She had all the rust cut out of her. And that was made in draw card for us to actually purchase her in the first place.
So we bought it and then realized that it had a few malfunctions, so we needed to fix it up mechanically, which took us a couple years to do, and then came the fun part.
As for the interior, we actually started with a blank canvas. Nothing had been done inside the back here. It was kind of a great opportunity for us to make her our own.
He had put the 2 front seats in and had done all the upholstery and the canvas, which we loved because they're very neutral tones.
And so, fortunately, with the help of a few friends of mine, who are electricians and carpenters, we slowly built her out bit by bit over the course of about maybe 10 months before we left on the trip.
We've currently been on the road for almost a year and we are loving it. We did have a few breaks because of COVID and a few other things that came up with life, so that gave us some time to just settle down and rest for a while and made us excited to hit the road again when it came time. Being on the road makes us feel super inspired because we're always outdoors in nature and just enjoying all the good vibes that Australia has to offer.
Why we love being on the road so much in our Kombi is because we pull up to spots like this around Australia and they're just so epic. Being on the road makes you be in nature so much more often. We wake up for sunrises, we're always waiting for hours to see a sunset, and the nature is basically my favorite part.